Hello there. Tonight, we are stepping quietly into the Middle Ages. You've seen knights in stories of shining armor, grand castles, and endless glory. But their true lives, they were filled with sweat, hunger, debt, and fear. Less like heroes and more like men trapped in heavy iron. If you enjoy uncovering these hidden sides of history, I'd be humbled if you subscribed. It helps me share more forgotten tales. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And what time is it right now? So settle into your bed, soften the light, close your eyes if you wish, and let your breath grow slow and steady. Now, let's begin the story of why life as a medieval knight actually sucked. You are 7 years old when the path to knighthood begins. Not with a sword, not with honor, but with a farewell. Your parents, Thomas and Eleanor, stand at the doorway of your home. They do not cry. Pride holds back their tears. Your father places a hand on your shoulder. Your mother presses a small cloth bundle into your arms. It holds 2 shirts, a pair of wool stockings, and a wooden cross. No one asks if you want this life. Readiness does not matter. You are sent away because the family believes this is your chance for something greater. And so you walk down the road to serve a noble lord. The castle of Lord Geoffrey rises above the horizon. Its stone towers pierce the grey sky. The walls look taller than mountains to your young eyes. When the wooden gate creaks open, it feels like the world itself is swallowing you whole. You step inside, and the smell of wet straw, horses, and smoke fills your nose. This is to be your new home. The first lesson you learn is not about courage, it is about work. Endless, unseen, thankless work. You are not a knight, you're not even close. You are a page, and that means fetching, carrying, and cleaning from dawn to dusk. At sunrise, you rise from a straw pallet in the servants' hall. The straw scratches your skin. Mice scurry in the corners. Other boys groan awake beside you, boys who, like you, have been sent from their homes. You do not know them yet, but you will. Shared hardship creates a kind of bond. The steward, a sharp man named Oswin, gives the day's orders. His voice cuts like iron. You are told to sweep the great hall. The rushes on the floor are filthy, soaked with wine and grease from last night's feast. You sweep until your arms ache, but no one thanks you. Soon you are sent to the stables. The smell is worse here. Horses stamp and snort as you shovel dung into buckets. Your small hands blister on the wooden handle. By noon, sweat drips into your eyes. You learn quickly that there is no end to these tasks. As soon as one is finished, another begins. Meals are brief. Bread so hard it scrapes your mouth. Cheese that smells almost sour. If you are lucky, a slice of salted pork. You eat fast because Oswin is always watching, ready to bark the next command. Sometimes you carry trays to the great hall during feasts. You stand silent as lords and ladies laugh, complain, and boast. They hardly notice you. You are invisible. When a knight drops a chicken bone, you stoop to clean it before the dogs snatch it. Your back bends more than your sword arm ever will. Still, lessons begin even in these early days. A wooden sword is thrust into your hands by Sir Aldrich, one of Lord Geoffrey's men. He is tall, scarred, and never smiles. He orders you to spar with the other boys. The wooden blades sting against your arms and shoulders. Bruises bloom across your skin. You learn how to fall without breaking bone. You fall often. Some days it feels like falling is the main lesson. Discipline is strict. You bow deeply when nights pass. You answer only when spoken to. A mistake means punishment. One boy named Henry forgets to remove his cap in the presence of Lady Beatrice, the Lord's wife. For that, he spends 2 days on his knees in the chapel praying for humility. None of you forget again. Sometimes, if your family is fortunate, a tutor is provided. You learn letters by candlelight. You trace Latin prayers on scraps of parchment. But literacy is a luxury. Most of your time is spent learning service, not scripture. Muscle matters more than words. Mornings begin with Mass. The chapel is cold year-round. You kneel on stone floors, your breath fogging the air, trying not to drift to sleep during the long Latin chants. Faith is not optional. The priests remind you daily, a knight's duty is holy duty. You nod, trying to believe, even as your stomach growls. Evenings bring a brief relief. The great hall fills with music and song. Minstrels sing of Arthur, of Roland, of saints who fought dragons. You sit in the shadows trying to catch every word. The stories stir something inside you. A spark, a dream. Perhaps one day someone will sing of you. Nights are cold. You return to the servants' hall, shoulder to shoulder with the other boys. The straw pallet smells of sweat and damp. You sleep light because you may be called to serve at any hour. Sometimes a late arrival at the castle drags you from bed to carry torches or water. You learn to rise without complaint. Each day is a lesson in survival. You learn which nights are cruel and which will turn a blind eye if you sneak an extra crust of bread. You learn the secret corners of the castle where you can catch a moment's rest. You learn silence, you learn patience, and slowly, very slowly, you grow. Not yet a knight, not even a squire, just a boy, bent beneath duty, waiting for the years to pass. But the journey has begun. You are 14 when your life changes again. The years as a page are behind you. The endless sweeping, fetching, and polishing taught you obedience. But now something more is expected. You are no longer a boy running through the halls with errands. You are a squire. Your service is now bound to one knight, Sir Aldric of Greyford. He is a man with a thick beard, scars across his arms, and a voice that echoes like iron striking stone. From the first day, you feel the weight of his presence. He does not speak kindly. He does not smile. Yet every word he gives you is law. Your duties grow heavier. At dawn, you enter the stables to saddle Aldric's horse. The animal, a restless warhorse named Bramble, towers above you. Its breath steams in the cold air. Its hooves strike sparks against the stone floor. You struggle to fasten the straps and fit the bit into its mouth. One mistake, one loosened buckle, and you will answer to Aldric's fury. After the stables comes the armor. A knight's gear is his second skin, and you must know every piece as well as he does. Chainmail heavy and rusting if left unattended. Gauntlets stiff with dried sweat. A helmet that presses down like a weight of stone. You polish, oil, and mend until your fingers bleed. When the plates are strapped onto his body, you walk around him, checking each buckle, each tie, making certain nothing will snap in the chaos of battle. It is exhausting, endless work, but this is only the beginning. Sir Aldric trains you as harshly as he treats his weapons. The wooden swords of your childhood are cast aside. Now you hold blunted steel, and every blow he delivers shakes your bones. He corrects you not with patience, but with bruises. A misstep earns a strike across the ribs. A slow parry leaves your knuckles bleeding. You fall often, you rise always, because rising is the only choice. You learn to ride in armor. The weight crushes your shoulders. The horse beneath you shifts and resists. More than once you tumble into the dirt, gasping as the air leaves your chest. Aldrich does not help you. He orders you to climb again, 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 until your muscles burn and your legs no longer obey. At meals, you sit below him at the long table, close enough to serve but not close enough to belong. Your portion is smaller, your voice silent. You pour his drink, carve his meat, fetch his bread. When he speaks of past battles, you listen. He boasts of lances shattering, of enemies trampled under hooves. His companions laugh, their cups spilling with ale. You sit quietly, your eyes lowered, the dream of knighthood tasting bitter in your mouth. Yet there are lessons hidden in his cruelty. You learn how to tend wounds. You bind his cuts after training, washing away the blood, wrapping linen tight. You learn to sharpen blades, the stone rasping until the edge gleams. You learn to carry his banner into the field, a symbol that must never fall even if you do. The castle life you once knew feels distant. Now your world is the knight's world, armor, horses, steel, and the constant shadow of war. At night, when the training ground is empty and the fires burn low, you sometimes lie awake in the straw loft. The bruises throb on your arms. The sound of Aldrich's laughter still echoes in your ears. And you wonder, is this truly the path to honor, or only a longer road to suffering? But doubt does not stop the march of days. Tomorrow you will rise with the bell, fetch water, prepare bramble, polish the chainmail, and stand ready for the next command, because you are a squire now, and a squire's life is not his own. The days blend together one after another like the tolling of the chapel bell. You rise before the sun, summoned by the cold air and the sound of footsteps in the corridors. The stone floor chills your feet. Your hands are stiff from yesterday's training. Still you rise because a squire has no luxury of rest. Your first duty is mass. The chapel stands at the heart of the castle, built of grey stone and heavy with silence. You kneel on the cold floor, your breath misting in the dim air. Priests chant Latin verses, their voices echoing against the walls. You do not understand every word, but you bow your head and cross yourself. Faith is as much a duty as polishing armor. To be careless here is to risk not only shame, but sin. After prayers comes food, bread, dry and hard, dipped in watered ale. A slice of cheese, perhaps a strip of salted meat if fortune smiles. You eat quickly because Sir Aldrich waits. He does not forgive delay. Then the real work begins. You follow Aldrich into the yard. The sun has barely lifted, yet your body is already heavy with tasks. You help lift his armor onto the rack, check the straps, mend the tears in his cloak. The smith calls you to carry nails, hammers, and tools. The cook shouts for water. The steward demands reports. You run from one order to the next, never stopping, never allowed to complain. The castle is alive with noise. Servants rush with baskets, dogs bark, chickens scatter across the courtyard. A cart of hay creaks through the gate, its wheels stuck in the mud. Nobles argue in the great hall. Somewhere above, a lady's voice rises in sharp command, and you are in the middle of it all, invisible yet burdened with every task. At midday, training resumes. Aldrich orders you to hold the shield while he strikes it again and again. The force drives you to your knees, the wood splintering beneath each blow. He curses when you falter, his voice like thunder. Then he tosses you a blunted sword. You spar with another squire, Thomas, a boy with red hair and a quick temper. He strikes hard, eager to impress Aldrich. The clash of steel rattles your bones, your arms ache, your lungs burn. By the time Aldrich calls an end, you are drenched in sweat, your body trembling. There is no time to rest. You run to the stables, horses snort and kick, their stalls reeking of dung. You shovel straw, haul buckets of water, and brush the mud from Bramble's flanks. The beast turns its head and bites at your sleeve. You yank free, muttering under your breath. A warhorse does not care for the boy who cleans it. Evening brings another mass. Your knees bruise against the stone floor as the priest speaks of duty, humility, and service. The words are heavy, but your eyelids heavier. More than once your head drops forward before you jerk awake. A sharp elbow from Thomas reminds you to stay alert. Supper is little more than the morning's meal repeated. Bread, ale, perhaps a stew, if the cook has mercy. The knights dine above, their laughter spilling into the hall. You pour Aldrich's drink, careful not to spill. You carve his meat, place his trencher before him. He barely glances at you. His attention is on the stories told around the table. Tales of battles, of lords feuding, of hunts in the forest. You stand silent, a shadow at his side. When the meal ends, you follow him to his chambers, carrying his sword and cloak. You place them neatly by the bed, bow, and withdraw. Only then are you free to return to the loft where the other squires and servants gather. The straw is damp, the air thick with the smell of sweat and mildew. You lie down among them, too tired to speak. The sound of snores and rustling fills the dark. Sleep comes, but not easily. Your body aches from bruises and blisters. Your mind lingers on the day's punishments, the sharp words, the endless demands. And still, beneath the fatigue, a small spark burns. A dream. That one day you will not serve, but be served. That one day you will not polish the armor, but wear it. Yet for now, you are a squire. Your life belongs to Sir Aldrich, to Lord Geoffrey, to the castle itself. Every morning will be the same. Every evening will end in exhaustion. And so the days pass, one after another, until you forget to count them. Morning begins before the sun. The yard is damp with dew, the sky still grey. You hold a practice sword in your hands, its weight familiar but never comfortable. Sir Aldrich waits, his arms crossed, eyes sharp. Thomas stands across from you, his red hair messy, his grin full of challenge. Begin, Aldrich commands. Steel strikes steel. The sound echoes through the yard. Thomas swings hard, his blows wild but powerful. You block, your arms shaking from the force. Aldrich does not allow you to step back. "Hold your ground!" he shouts. The order is sharper than the sword itself. Your body obeys, even when your mind wants to run. The blade slams against your shoulder. Pain sparks down your arm. You grit your teeth. You push forward. The training is endless. When your sword falls, Aldrich tosses another into your hand. When your shield splinters, he demands you hold what is left. Every bruise becomes a lesson, every cut a warning. Weakness is not forgiven. You learn footwork. Step forward, step back, never cross your feet. You learn timing. Wait for the strike, then answer with your own. You learn pain. Swallow it, hide it. Aldrich's voice drills it into you. A knight does not cry out. Some days the training is with blunted swords, other days it is wrestling. You are thrown into the dirt again and again. Your back aches, your lungs burn. The ground feels harder each time. Thomas slams you down with ease, laughing as you gasp for breath. Aldrich does not stop him. He watches, arms folded, until you force yourself up and try again. Then comes archery. The bow is heavy, the string biting into your fingers. You draw until your arms tremble. The arrow wobbles, missing the target. Aldrich frowns. Again. You shoot until your fingertips bleed. Still, he says. Again. Even the horse training leaves its mark. Bramblebucks when you climb onto his back. The armor weighs you down. You fall into the mud, the world spinning, your ribs bruised. Aldrich points at the saddle. Climb again. And you do, no matter how many times you fall. At night, your body is covered in bruises, blue, purple, yellow. Your skin feels like a map of pain. You lie in the loft, the straw scratching your arms, Thomas beside you, snoring as if he had not been the one to knock you down hours before. The other squires shift and groan, their bodies no less battered, but in the silence there is a strange comfort. You are not alone. Every boy carries the same marks, the same tired eyes, the same hidden doubts. Together you endure. Together you rise at dawn, lift the swords, take the blows, and keep moving forward. And slowly, very slowly, you notice change. Your arms grow stronger, your strikes land harder. You can stay on your feet longer when Thomas presses you. Your bruises still bloom, but your body bends instead of breaking. Sir Aldrich notices too. His approval does not come as praise, but in fewer curses, in a nod, when you block a strike well, in silence where once there was scolding. It is not kindness. It is recognition. And in its own way, it feels like victory. Still, there are moments that crush your spirit. A broken rib that leaves you gasping for weeks. A cut across your cheek that scars. A night when you cry quietly into the straw, praying no one hears. The path to knighthood is not paved with glory. It is paved with bruises, with pain, with the endless demand to rise, no matter how many times you fall. Every day you ask yourself, how much more can I endure? And every morning the bell tolls and you rise again. Because choice does not belong to you. You are a squire. And your body is not your own. It belongs to the training. You are 16 when you first see a joust. The banners hang bright above the lists. Trumpets sound. The air smells of sweat, dust, and roasted meat. Crowds gather, their voices rising like waves. To them, this is glory. To you, it is duty. Sir Aldrich rides in shining armor. His lance gleams. His horse, Bramble, stamps and snorts, eager for the charge. You stand at the edge of the field, holding his spare shield, sweat running down your back. The sun is hot, the armor heavier still. The knights line up at opposite ends. Trumpets call again. The crowd cheers. Aldrich lowers his lance. Bramble leaps forward. The ground shakes beneath pounding hooves. The lances crash. Wood splinters. The other knight reels, nearly thrown. The crowd roars with delight. But you see what they do not. You see Aldrich's hand trembling as he reins in Bramble. You see the dent in his breastplate deep enough to crack a rib. You see blood at the corner of his mouth, quickly hidden behind his visor. The joust continues. Round after round knights charge. Horses stumble. Men fall. Some rise. Some do not. The crowd claps and laughs, blind to the pain. You run back and forth, fetching lances, carrying shields, wiping mud from Aldrich's armor. Each time he rides out again, you wonder if he will return. At last, Aldrich unhorses his opponent. The crowd explodes in cheers. He raises his lance in triumph, though you know he can barely lift his arm. Victory is declared. The lady of the manor places a wreath upon his helm. To all, it is a day of glory. But when the crowd departs and the lists fall silent, you help Aldrich dismount. He groans as his feet hit the ground. His face is pale. You loosen his armor, and he sags against you, his body shaking. Under the plates, his chest is black with bruises, his ribs swollen, his breath shallow. This is the truth of the joust. Not glory, not honor, pain, broken bones, sometimes death. You glance at Thomas, who stands nearby, eyes wide with excitement. "One day that will be us," he whispers. You nod, though your stomach twists, because you know the truth. To joust is not to shine, it is to suffer. That night, Aldrich lies groaning in his bed. You sit at his side, dabbing his wounds, feeding him bitter herbs. Outside, the villagers still sing of the day's sport, but their songs do not reach the chamber. Here, only the sound of ragged breathing fills the air. You understand now. Every tale of shining armor hides the cracks beneath. Every victory hides the pain it took to earn it. And still the training continues. Still you polish the armor. Still you saddle the horse, because this is the path laid before you, and you are too far along to turn back. After the joust, you expect days of rest. Instead, you find more work waiting. The life of a knight and of his squire is not filled with tournaments. It is filled with duties. Endless, heavy, thankless duties. At dawn, you are already in the yard, tightening straps on Bramble's saddle. Sir Aldrich's bruises are still fresh, but his voice is sharp. "We ride," he says. You do not question where. You obey. The road is rough. Villages scatter along the fields, huts of mud and straw. The peasants bow low when Aldrich passes, but their eyes are hollow. Some bring coins, some bring grain. This is tax, collected not with kindness, but with fear. You watch Aldrich's gauntleted hand reach out. You watch trembling hands drop copper into his palm. For them, it is survival. For him, it is duty. For you, it is a lesson you wish you could unlearn. When a farmer hesitates, Aldrich's voice hardens. His sword hilt raps against the man's ribs. "Pay," he growls. The man obeys. You hold the sack of coins, your fingers tightening around it. The weight feels like guilt. Other days, the duty is escorting nobles. Lord Geoffrey's daughter, Lady Eleanor, travels to a neighbouring manor. You ride behind her carriage, eyes scanning the woods for danger. The journey is long, the weather cold. You keep the horse steady, the banner upright, though your arms ache. Wolves howl at night. Bandits sometimes lurk. But most of the time, there is no danger, only hours of silence, broken by the creak of wheels. Guard duty is no lighter. Long nights at the gate, pacing back and forth, armor biting into your shoulders, the torches burn low, your eyes fight against sleep. Every sound, owl, wind, shifting branch, feels like a threat. Yet most nights, nothing comes. You are left with exhaustion, boredom, and the weight of iron pressing against your skin. In the hall, Aldrich gives orders. You run errands, deliver messages, polish his armor again and again. Each dent tells a story, some of victory, some of cruelty, some of nothing more than stubborn duty. Thomas often mutters under his breath, "This is not glory, this is slavery in armor." His words make you uneasy, but part of you agrees. You see how knights are treated. Lords demand obedience, priests demand faith, villagers demand protection. But in truth, knights are servants too, bound by oath, chained by duty, ruled by men more powerful than themselves. Sometimes Aldrich sends you to carry letters. The messages are sealed in wax, but you wonder what secrets they hide. Orders for war, demands for gold, promises of marriage. You do not ask. To ask is to invite punishment. The hardest duty is when Aldrich is called to enforce justice. A thief caught stealing grain, a peasant accused of lying to his lord. Aldrich rides out, sword at his side, judgment in his eyes. You stand near, watching. The punishments are harsh: whipping, branding, sometimes hanging. The peasants weep. You swallow hard, your stomach twisting. This is called justice, but it feels more like fear. At night, you lie awake. You think of the farmer's hollow eyes, the thief's broken body. You wonder, is this the life you are fighting to join? Is this what knighthood means? To serve, to punish, to collect, to obey. Yet even in doubt, you rise each morning. You saddle the horse, you polish the armor, you carry the banner, because choice does not belong to you. It belongs to Aldrich, to Geoffrey, to the code that binds you. Knighthood was promised as glory. What you find is burden. And still you walk the path. The castle grows restless. Whispers drift through the hall, carried on cold draughts. Messengers arrive with mud on their boots and fear in their eyes. Lord Geoffrey gathers his men. His voice is low but firm. War is coming. You feel it before you hear it. The rhythm of life changes. The smith's hammer rings from dawn until dark. Sparks fly as swords are sharpened, spearheads fitted, armor repaired. Horses are shod with new iron shoes. Every sound is louder, sharper, like the castle itself is holding its breath. Sir Aldrich calls you to his side. His face is stern, his jaw set. Prepare, he says. The word carries a weight that presses on your chest. Your duties multiply. You oil his chainmail, check every buckle, mend every strap. The plates of his armor feel heavier in your hands, as if they already know the blood they will taste. You sharpen his sword until the edge gleams in the firelight. He tests it, nods once, and hands it back without a word. Thomas is restless. He boasts in the loft, speaking of glory, of songs that will be sung. His laughter fills the night, but you see his hands trembling when he thinks no one is looking. He is as afraid as you, though he hides it behind his grin. The priests walk through the castle more often now. They bless the knights, sprinkle holy water on the banners, whisper prayers over the stables. In the chapel, candles burn at all hours. The air smells of smoke and incense. You kneel on the stone floor, whispering prayers of your own, not for glory, not for honor, for survival. The villagers know too. They bring supplies, carts of grain, and barrels of ale. Their faces are pale. Their children cling to their skirts. They know that when knights ride to war, peasants pay the price too. Fields will burn, homes will empty. Death does not choose sides. On the training ground, Aldrich drives you harder. The wooden practice swords are gone. Now you train with steel. Every strike leaves sparks. Every block rattles your bones. He knocks you to the ground again and again. Stand, he commands. And you do, blood on your lip, mud on your knees, lungs burning. At night, you clean your own gear. The sword Aldrich allowed you to keep. The small shield scarred from practice. The padded jacket that barely softens a blow. You run your hands over each piece, wondering if they will save you or fail you. The march date is set. Lord Geoffrey gathers the men in the courtyard. Banners snap in the wind. His words echo from the walls. Loyalty, duty, God's will. The crowd shouts, but the sound does not warm you. It chills you. You see Lady Eleanor watching from the tower. Her hands clutch the stone ledge. Her face is pale. She knows some will not return. That night, the castle does not sleep. Fires burn in the yard. Armor clatters. Horses stamp. The air is thick with fear and excitement. You lie in the loft, staring into the dark, your heart pounding. Thomas whispers beside you. Tomorrow we ride. You close your eyes, but no rest comes. The images play in your mind, swords clashing, arrows flying, bodies falling. You wonder how many nights you have left to dream. Morning arrives. The sky is grey, the wind sharp. The gate creaks open. The knights ride out, banners raised, lances gleaming. You ride behind Aldrich, the weight of your shield heavy on your arm. Villagers line the road, crossing themselves, some weeping as you pass. Children wave with small hands, mothers pull them close. The world ahead is wide and uncertain. The fields stretch to the horizon, but you know beyond them waits fire and blood. You breathe once, steady and slow. The path is set. There is no turning back. War has come, and you ride to meet it. The march is long. Mud clings to your boots. The air is heavy with smoke. Villages burn in the distance. The smell of ash and fear rides the wind. You do not need to be told. You know war is close. When the camp is made, knights gather around fires. They speak in low voices, sharpening blades, checking straps. You sit with Thomas, sharing bread that tastes of dust. Neither of you speak much. Words feel small against what waits. At dawn, the trumpet calls. You rise, your stomach twisting. Armor clanks all around you. Horses snort, stamping the earth. Sir Aldrich mounts Bramble, his eyes fixed forward. He does not look at you. He does not need to. You know your place. The battlefield opens like a wound. Fields trampled flat, hills echoing with drums. Banners rise in the wind, colors bright against a grey sky. Across the plain, the enemy waits. Spears glint, shields form walls. Their voices shout prayers you cannot understand. Your heart hammers, your hands shake on the reins. You whisper to yourself, steady, steady. The trumpet blares, the line moves, hooves thunder. The ground shakes like the earth itself is breaking. Dust rises, choking your breath. You lower your shield, grip your sword tight. Then the clash. It is not like training. It is not like tournaments. It is chaos. Screams, steel, blood. The world shatters into noise and pain. You strike at shadows, at faces, at whoever lunges too close. A spear scrapes your arm. You stumble, nearly fall. Someone shoves you forward, a body crashing against yours. You swing blindly, feel your blade bite into flesh. A man falls, his eyes wide, his mouth open but silent. Your breath catches. You killed him. You're first. There is no time to think. Another comes, you block, sparks flying. The force drives you back. You push, your legs shaking, your teeth clenched. Sir Aldrich's voice roars somewhere in the chaos. His banner waves above the swarm, a single point in the storm. You cling to it, moving toward it, because without it, you are lost. Thomas appears at your side, his face pale, his sword slick with blood. "Stay with me," he shouts. You nod, though you cannot hear your own voice. Together you push forward, shield to shield, step by step. The ground is slick. Horses scream as they fall, crushing men beneath them. Arrows whistle, burying themselves in flesh. The smell of iron and rot fills your lungs. You gag, but keep moving. To stop is to die. Hours blur. The sun climbs. The shouting never ends. By the time the trumpet calls retreat, your arms are numb, your body trembling. You stagger back, feet dragging, eyes wide. Around you men crawl, some missing limbs, some crying out for mothers who cannot hear. You collapse beside Thomas, your chest heaving. He stares at you, blood streaked across his cheek. Neither of you speak. Words cannot touch what you have seen. When the campfires burn that night, the songs are quiet. The air is filled with groans, with prayers, with silence too heavy to bear. You sit in the dark, your sword across your knees, your hands shaking. You thought battle would bring glory. It brought only death, and in your heart, You know this is only the beginning. The battlefield is quiet now. The noise has drained away, leaving only the moans of the dying. Smoke curls from burned huts in the distance. The air is thick with iron, sweat, and rot. You taste it with every breath. You walk among the fallen. Bodies lie twisted, armor broken, faces unrecognizable. Some reach out with trembling hands, whispering for water, for mercy, for prayers. You have none to give. You keep walking. Sir Aldrich leans on Bramble, his face pale beneath his helm. Blood stains his arm. He does not speak. He does not need to. You see the pain in the way he moves, each step slow and heavy. You support him when he stumbles. His weight presses hard against your shoulder. Thomas walks on your other side. His grin is gone. His eyes are wide, staring at everything and nothing. His sword hangs loose in his hand, its edge chipped and dark. He has not spoken since the retreat. You do not press him. There are no words. The camp fills with cries. Wounded men lie in rows, their bodies shaking, their voices breaking. Priests move among them, crossing foreheads, whispering last rites. The smell of blood and burning oil smothers the air. You kneel to bind a wound, pressing cloth against flesh. The man groans once, then goes still. You press harder, but there is nothing left to save. Disease follows close behind battle. Flies gather on open wounds. Fever spreads among the tents. Men cough, vomit, shiver. You carry buckets of water, wash blood from the ground, but the stench clings to everything. Even your hands smell of death. Looting begins. Victors move from house to house, breaking doors, taking grain, pulling rings from dead fingers. Villagers cry, begging for mercy. Their pleas vanish in the clash of boots and shouts. You watch from the shadows, your stomach turning. This is not honor. This is hunger dressed as justice. Dressed as. At night, the fires burn low. The wounded still call out, some for mothers, some for God, some for death. You lie awake, straw beneath you, armor beside you. Sleep will not come. Each time you close your eyes, you see faces, eyes wide, mouths open. You feel again the sword striking bone, the blood running warm. You remember the first man you killed. His stare lingers in your mind. You wonder who he was, what family waited for him, what stories ended with your hand. You try to pray, but the words falter. Even faith feels heavy. Sir Aldrich sits by the fire, silent, his hand pressed to his wounded side. His breath is shallow. He does not speak of glory tonight. He stares into the flames, his face carved in shadow. You see not a hero, but a man broken by duty. Thomas finally speaks. His voice is rough, hollow. Is this it? Is this what we fight for? You have no answer. He does not wait for one. He turns away, lying down, his back to you. Morning brings more work. Digging graves, piling bodies, covering faces with torn cloth. The ground is soft with blood, the air heavy with silence. Each shovelful of earth feels like another weight on your chest. You bury strangers, you bury comrades, you bury parts of yourself. By the time the field is cleared, only scars remain. Burned earth, broken lances, rusting blades. The crows circle above, their cries sharp and endless. The knights ride again soon. Orders are given, banners raised. War does not end with one battle. It stretches on, swallowing weeks, months' lives. You mount your horse, your body still aching, your mind still haunted. And as the road stretches forward, you realize something. The battle never truly ends. It follows you, in the bruises, in the scars, in the dreams that wake you in the night. Glory is nowhere. Only survival remains. When you were a boy, priests spoke of honor. They told you a knight's life was holy. That chivalry meant protecting the weak, serving the church, and fighting with courage. You believed them. You held those words close each night, dreaming of shining armor and noble deeds. But the battlefield showed you something else. Back in the castle, you see it clearer still. The feasts return as if war was nothing more than a game. Knights drink deep, their laughter echoing against the stone walls. They boast of strikes landed, of peasants crushed, of fires set. Their voices rise with pride, their cups spill with ale. No one speaks of the dying cries that still haunt your dreams. Sir Aldrich drinks too, though he drinks in silence. His wounds ache. His hand trembles when he lifts the cup. He does not call it glory, he does not call it honor. He calls it duty, though even that word seems heavy on his tongue. Thomas tries to laugh with the others. He tells stories, exaggerates his strikes, mimics the way enemies fell. But when the hall empties, when the fire burns low, his face falls into shadow. You hear him whisper in the loft at night, asking if God still listens. The priests continue their sermons. They bless the banners, praise the Lord, speak of holy duty. They say the church guides the sword. But you remember how those same priests turned their faces away when peasants begged for mercy, when soldiers looted the dead. Their prayers are loud in the chapel, but silent in the fields. You begin to notice other things. The noblemen who praise knights in public, then mock them in private. The lords who demand loyalty, yet treat their warriors like tools to be used and discarded. The code of honor spoken in soft words but broken in hard deeds. One night, you overhear Lord Geoffrey laughing with his steward. The peasants feed us. The knights bleed for us. That is the order of things. His words strike deeper than any blade. You realize then you are not free. You are bound, not by choice, but by oath. And still the songs are sung. Minstrels in the hall praise Arthur, Roland, saints who slayed dragons. Children listen with wide eyes, dreaming the same dreams you once dreamed. They do not see the bruises on your arms, the scars across your chest, the blood that never washes away. The gap between ideal and reality grows wider each day. You serve, you obey, you endure. But the promise of honor feels more like a lie whispered to children. And in the silence of the night you ask yourself, is knighthood a blessing? Or is it only a chain forged in words of glory but bound in blood and pain? You do not know the answer. You only know that tomorrow you will rise, lift your sword, and serve again. Because in the end, a knight does not live for himself. He lives for duty. Years of service pass. Years of bruises, battles, and burdens. And at last, the day comes. You kneel in the chapel, the stone floor cold beneath your knees. Candles flicker all around, their smoke curling into the air. Priests chant softly, their voices rising like waves against the high walls. The smell of incense clings to your clothes. Sir Aldrich stands beside you. His beard is grey now, his body slower, but his eyes still sharp. He rests a hand on your shoulder. Not gently, but firmly, as if passing the weight of his years into you. Lord Geoffrey watches from the front. His voice carries through the chapel. You have served. You have endured. You have proven yourself. His words echo, heavy with ritual.
A sword is brought forward. The blade gleams in the candlelight. You bow your head.
The steel touches your shoulder, first the left, then the right. "Rise," Geoffrey commands, "a knight of this house." The words should lift you. They should fill you with pride. Instead, you feel the chain tighten. You stand, but the weight does not leave your shoulders. It grows. The hall bursts into cheers. Thomas claps your back, grinning. "At last," he says. His voice is bright, but his eyes are tired. He too will kneel soon, and he knows it. A feast follows. Tables groan under roasted meat and bread. Wine flows freely. Minstrels sing of glory, their songs rising above the laughter. Ladies smile. Nobles applaud. You sit at the table of knights now, a cup in your hand, a title at your name. But the bruises on your arms remain. The scars on your body do not fade. The memories of screams, of blood, of broken oaths, they sit with you, heavier than any armor. Later, when the hall empties and the fire burns low, you sit alone. Your sword rests beside you, its edge sharp, its hilt worn smooth. You trace the blade with your fingers, feeling the cold steel. This is what you wanted once. This is what you dreamed of when you were 7, leaving home with a bundle of clothes and a head full of stories. Now you know better. A knight's life is not songs and shining armor. It is scars, silence, and duty without end. Still, you wear the title. You bow to your lord. You ride when called. You obey because you are a knight now. And a knight belongs to others, never to himself. You stand at the edge of the training yard, the same stones where your path once began. The years have passed. The boy who polished boots, who carried buckets, who dreamed of shining armor, he is gone. In his place stands a knight, scarred, weary, and bound. Your body tells the story. Shoulders bent from armor's weight. Scars across your arms, your chest, your face. Fingers stiff from years of sword and shield. Sleep haunted by memories of screams and fire. You carry all of it, like another layer of mail. You think of the ideals spoken to you as a child. Chivalry, honor, glory. You repeat the words in your mind, but they feel hollow. For every tale of knights protecting the weak, you remember the peasants beaten for taxes. For every song of noble battles, you remember the mud, the blood, the broken bodies. For every feast of victory, you remember the silence of the wounded left behind. Thomas rides beside you still. His red hair is streaked with grey now. He laughs less, he speaks less, but he endures as you do. Sir Aldrich has grown frail, his steps slow, his voice softer. You see in him your own future. Years of duty, ending not in glory but in exhaustion, and yet you remain. Because knighthood is not choice, it is not freedom. It is chain, oath, burden. You kneel to your lord, you fight his wars, you serve his will. At night, in the quiet of the chapel, you whisper prayers, not for glory, not for honor, for peace, for rest, for release from the endless weight. And sometimes you wonder, was it worth it? To give your childhood, your body, your soul to this path? To be remembered in songs or to be forgotten in the mud? The truth is simple. To be a knight is not glory, it is suffering. It is duty without end, and as you close your eyes, you whisper the words you once heard from Aldrich himself. A knight belongs to others, never to himself. And so that is the truth behind the stories. Not shining armor, but scars. Not endless honor, but endless service. Life as a medieval knight was harsh, bitter, and full of burdens. Thank you for listening tonight. If this story eased your mind or carried you into rest, consider subscribing and share in the comments where in the world you are listening from. For now, let your eyes grow heavy, your breath steady, and drift into quiet sleep.